Thanks, everyone. We did a project called SoilQuest, democratizing soil data for increasing yields and carbon storage. My name is Lynn Fang. I'm a soil scientist working with community composting, regenerative farming, and habitat restoration projects.
And I'm Paulo Arantes. I'm a data scientist, and I work currently at Autodesk in the construction side, but I'm just transitioning to work in electrification at span.io, thanks to this fellowship.
So wanted to kind of frame the soil and all of the ecosystem and benefits that the soil provides, such as climate regulation and carbon sequestration, in addition to nutrient cycling, provision of food, fiber and fuel, and also draw attention to the soil microbiome, that it only makes up about 0.5% of the soil itself, but is one of the primary drivers of all of these ecosystem services in terms of nutrient and organic formation.
And with all of that data locked into soil, how can we actually unlock that? That requires a lot more data analysis. For that to happen, we need a lot more accessible and affordable soil testing so we can actually monitor the health across the land and understand the different use types. There's a lot of opportunities in soil microbiome analysis, which is similar to a microbiome for your gut, but for the soil health. And there's also opportunities on remote sensing and mobile systems that would really let these technologies achieve a lot more people. Finally, there's robotics opportunities for high throughput genetic sequencing, which would make the operations more efficient.
Yeah, that's a more robust and efficient way to analyze the microbiome. And there's a lot of opportunity for data analysis and also bringing these different aspects of soil together to build more robust models for how soil processes work. A small data set that was looking at identifying soil microbial groups that contribute significantly to increased soil carbon storage. I'm particularly interested in long-term persistence. There's a couple of different groups that are kind of targeting the soil microbial processes of carbon storage, such as the Soil Health Institute, and also government agencies such as Department of Energy and ARPA are also interested in those topics. So the pilot data set is from a group called Metabolic Studio. They're by the LA River. They're a nonprofit engaged in work around habitat restoration and bioremediation. So they had a project called the Moon where they cut out 6 circles of concrete and experimented with different bioremediation treatments to remove hydrocarbon pollutants as well as heavy metals such as lead. And they used natural strategies such as using plants, fungi, soil amendments, compost, etc. And so they took some samples and analyzed the microbiome based on genetic sequencing techniques. And so this is an example of some of the analyses that can come out of that. So this is the bacteria composition for these 6 different treatment circles, and each of the colors represents a different phylum group of bacteria. And so you can see like the compositional differences. The bacterial groups can pinpoint to functions. For example, Nitrospira is a nitrogen fixing bacteria. This is a soil correlation matrix of all different soil data. So the white boxes are highly correlated, black boxes are kind of opposite, non-correlated. And so you can see the spectrum of indicators on this map. There's another analysis called Permanova that analyzes the microbial and puts them on the more similar they are and the more far apart and more different. Also can analyze whether those differences impact soil health indicators like soil carbon. So in this case, the native plant treatments and the compost treatment are more similar to each other and also pull soil carbon further in that direction. So the native plant treatments and compost all help to improve soil carbon. The compost much more, which is the brown circle at the top right. And then the 3 star kind of things below are the native plant treatments. But all of this information can come together to build comprehensive reports to share with people who are interested about different aspects of soil health to help them troubleshoot their issues, as well as optimize soil carbon, help to increase yield, improve management techniques, and things like that. And also as an opportunity better model.
So how do we make this a reality? It's pretty clear that there's a lot of benefits in terms of value proposition. It is a data-centric monitoring approach that lets us personalize recommendations so anybody can manage their own land to be more climate resilient and also be regenerated. The second clear one is improving the soil health, increases the yields, sometimes 200% up to 5 times I've heard, saves water, sometimes up to 50%, and at the same time increases the carbon storage potential and permanence. So the pricing strategy on how you make this happen will really depend on what we can discover from a large data collection moving forward from this initial pilot. But we really believe that it must have a tiered pricing, so we can sponsorship a lot of low income communities by the companies that are doing this at a larger scale. There's a lot of opportunities that me and Lynn have expertise to make use of more cost-effective hardware and or computer vision analysis, which is what I've been doing for the past years, that really can help this democratize. So moving forward, we had a few criteria to select partners. The 3 that we use initially is just like somebody that can help us sponsor soil samples so we can gather this data and see the impact in a more robust way. Second, that they would have like different types of systems or land use strategies so we can see the difference and compare against the baseline. And finally, somebody that could potentially co-create those methods and indicators that would make SoilQuest or whatever this become a science-based, nature-based solution platform focused on soil health. With that in mind, we kickstarted 3 projects. The first one is a permaculture retreat in Brazil. A friend of mine just acquired 500 acres with the intent of preserving. And there's a lot of like community focused projects to help the agriculture be more resilient, but also they are a UNESCO asset in terms of artisanal candy making. And me and Lynn, we're gonna help use the soil technique that he'll fund to analyze and make this like a really preservable place. There's like 10 waterfalls in the land, all types of biomes, so it's super exciting.
Yeah, and I have a couple projects at the community scale that I've been doing on soil health monitoring and testing for community composting, as well as compost application on parkland in Griffith Park in Los Angeles, and looking at soil carbon sequestration there. So those could all use a boost in terms of increasing the amount of variables that we're testing and the analysis that we're doing in future years.
And finally, to wrap up this presentation, Charles, if you're looking for a good artist for your project, and Suzanne, they are beautiful. Check out Shannon's project, a huge shout out because she got this correlation map from our presentation, and put them in the real world, like with a project where people can engage with art and learn more about it with the QR code. So it was just a brilliant, so shout out Shannon. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye. Woo! Awesome.
Amazing.
Good job, Lynn and Paulo.